What's good, YouTube? I appreciate those of y'all tuning in. I know it's been some time since we've been back here doing another one of these breakdown videos, but it's good to be back. It's good to have y'all. And today we're gonna be highlighting Houston Texans wide receiver Tank Dell because I feel like he's one of the more underappreciated or undervalued wide receivers in the National Football League when it comes to his route running. And I truly do believe that his route running is a form of poetry in motion and it's an art form. And we're going to be starting with what he did at the recent Senior Bowl and even some of his clips from college at the University of Houston up until now in the National Football League to show that this is something that he's always been good at. It's just not something he's just got to the league and found out how to do. No, he's been doing this, and it's something he's really good at. So here he's to the bottom of the screen working one-on-one, inside leverage from the defensive back, and he's just going to run a hitch route. And I love his approach to every route he does, and especially the hitch routes here. You're going to see as we wind it back, he's getting full speed, and then just that snap down. It's a violent, quick snap down, gets the DB to really hesitate, and then look at how low he's getting. Like they typically say you want to be like in a sitting chair position at this point. Perfect example. If he gets even lower, I would say from that than a sitting chair position. And then another key thing is on the snap downs, you want to have you literally want to snap down, but another key part of it is you want your chin down, almost kind of like touching your knees, and to be bent in this kind of position right here. And then just with his low center of gravity, at his height of I think it's 5'8", he's able to just change directions very quickly. I mean, he wins on a lot of his routes, and it's something he does really well. You're gonna see it again, just a low snap down. Like it's violent, it's quick, it's sudden, and if it's sudden and quick, that gives the DB less time to react. As you see right here, this defensive back is playing on in an off position, and they're gonna be using a T step right here. Usually, when they use a T step, they get out of that break a little bit quicker. But stink, even though the DB has it good technique wise and using that T step, they should get out of it quicker. Tank Dell gets out of it even quicker. Slow feet don't eat, and that couldn't be any more for Tank Dell. He's got really quick feet, and in press or in these kind of situations where it's press man, he's got really good footwork, and he can go into a variety of releases and pair that variety, excuse me, of releases into looking very similar routes in a similar route tree. So here he is, inside shade from the defensive back, goes into a hesitation release, and then he's just got it's all working smoothly. So he's going to actually diamond release this defensive back because Tank Dell gets depth and he's working to the defensive back's leverage, which is to the outside right here, right now. And then with one planting one foot in the ground, he's really good at that to plant one foot in the ground and then just get from 0 to 60 very quickly. That's what he does right here. And I like how he's getting hip to hip with this defensive back right here because when he does that, he does get hip to hip. It makes the defensive back feel like this is going to be a vertical, either that's going to be a corner route or it's going to be a nine route or even a post. So when you get close hip to hip like that and you're able to have his quick change of direction, you can win on an in breaking route just like that. This is the same route, but I want to show it from the end zone view here or this view to highlight his footwork here. So typical wide receiver stance, right? That's where he goes from. Typical wide receiver stance, kind of hesitate, kind of a little bit of a hesitation, and he's working that diamond release to get outside. But then if you see right there, this right foot initially goes ahead of the left foot right here, kind of like scissor release it or have that kind of scissor footwork just to give him buy him a little bit more time and it just looks more fancier. But from that left foot, which initially was the back foot, he's going to plan off of it to give him really just that force to create speed I mean, really good footwork. So here we go. Watch it again. Hesitation, the scissor footwork there, where the right foot gets ahead of the left foot, and you see the way his body's angled. Hesitates by raising up his pad level. Then he lowers it when he gets to his plant foot here, and off of that plant foot is able to explode. Remember what I had said about Tank Dell pairing his releases and routes to look very similar until they don't? Well, here's a perfect example of it, and some example of his release from the last clip, right? We saw that hesitation, then the scissor footwork. Here, he's going to do a very similar thing. Hesitation, scissor footwork, but then he works outs to the outside here and the snap down. So he's pairing what he's doing what a great wide receiver does, which is you pair your releases and routes to look the same until the end result of it is not. In the Senior Bowl and with these kind of practice reps, it's I mean, the route is to the receiver's liking. It's whatever route that the receiver wants to run or feels comfortable showing off to scouts and NFL coaches. And I just like how comfortable he is with the difficult routes and the difficult things here. So it's a hitch route, and instead of breaking to the outside, which is where you would feel receivers feel comfortable breaking to the outside because they can at least position themselves in front of the defender or shield the defender from the ball. But here he's going to break to the inside. And I'm going to explain a little bit later why that's difficult. But here's the route, split release. He's going to work vertical, get his depth, and then very suddenly, okay, the snap down. And here's why I say that it's difficult for receivers to have that kind of comfortability breaking inside on a hitch route or coming back inside on a hitch route. Because like I said, you feel more comfortable to shield the defender from the ball on usually typically to the outside, but having to do it to the inside, you're going to get that defensive back that's going to grab you, right? And so you're going to be working back to the defensive back, which I mean doesn't feel comfortable. It's not something we really like to do. But he does it really well, and that defense back does get a hand on him. He's able, even though despite his size, to shield him off and fight him off, uses that right hand to swat it away. And then now the ball is really high. Another thing I like about Tank Dell that I just want to mention really doesn't kind of relates to this clip is that he plays a lot larger than his size. Like he's 5'8", 165 pounds, but he's able to high point this football right here and separate the ball and shield the defender from the ball. And he makes a great catch at it, having to extend his arms, and you see the penalty to the bottom right. Here is the poetry in motion aspect of his route running and just overall his craft. Here we go. He's going to be on a corner route. Okay. So we have traditional wide receiver stance. Now watch the footwork. We go from an uneven base, and he's crossing that right foot over the left foot. So that's an uneven base. The suddenness right here to freeze the defender as we go from this uneven base to an even base. Uneven to even freezes the defender. We're able to give them a jab to their leverage to really get them off platform. They do get off platform and they miss on the jab. Now at this point, we've already won the rep. So we've already run the rep wherever exactly we want to be. And the and then he's going to the corner route right here with his right foot, planting that right foot into the ground to the corner route. I mean, that's just crazy separation. Too bad the throw wasn't money. Otherwise, we'd be in the end zone. Here's a closer view right here of the footwork and just watch it. Normal wide receiver stance. Okay. Ball snapped. Scissor footwork right here. We're crossing the right foot over the left foot, getting the defender to freeze and hesitate, and then just suddenly planting that foot into the ground and accelerating, swatting off the hands, work vertical, snap it off to the outside. Just a thing of beauty. He's just He's just so shifty. I like the body language here that he shows the and just that body language manipulation to get the DB to open their hips one way and overall just make them chase. I mean, that's the name of the game as a wide receiver. You want to make that defensive back chase you because you know what you're going to run, but he doesn't. So we want to make him chase. So this is Tank right here in the middle or in the slot of this three wide receiver set. There he is, getting the DB all ready to flip their hips this way, work back inside, work vertical. Nope, we're gonna position ourselves like it's gonna be a corner route with this single safety over here, really getting this DB to feel threatened and open themselves up that way. Then we snap it off back to the middle and look at all that space we have and the separation we're creating. Here's a little detail here from his rookie season that I really like. I mean, the end result of this play is an incompletion. It does draw a pass interference, which is good. That's a plus. And so here's Tank Dell to the bottom of the screen right here. And he's going to be running a nine route. And we all, of course, every receiver running a nine route or a go route knows there's, especially if you're a good receiver, there's always going to be a safety over the top. So here on go routes, the the key rule is we always want to work to the outside, but the defense knows that, right? So they're going to have their corners shaded to the outside, meaning we have to work inside like how Tank Dell does right here. And knowing there's a safety over the top, we have to really just split the difference between the safety and this defensive back here. And also doing that, the second thing and really the most important thing we have to do is we have to be able to stack this defender and be able to shade them or cut them off, right? So think of it, and he's already done it right here. So think of it as like you're in traffic, right? And let's say you're going at a little bit faster of a speed than the person that's on your left, and then you let's say you cut them off. Well, then you're gonna have more. You're gonna be at a faster pace or have more speed than the person behind you because you cut them off and they have to put the brakes on, right? So he does it right there. And now he goes from really not having any chance for the quarterback to put this ball to at least some kind of chance, especially on his outside shoulder over there. It's a little bit underthrown. That's going to draw that pass interference there. And so, like I said, a little thing that turns out to be a really key thing. This is the last route running clip from Tank Dell that I'm going to show here, but it's really good work from him, and it just shows the mental side of the game that he's already mastered. We know he has the skill part of it, and then the next thing is just that mental thing. So he's on a deep out route here to the bottom of the screen, and we have what looks like possibly could be from pre-snap. Looking at it here, a cover three coverage by Jacksonville here because we have this corner to the bottom of the screen. They're playing off really deep, and they're shaded to the outside. So on an outbreaking route and they're shaded to the outside, we have to work inside, which is exactly what Dell does right here. See, he started from at around this point right here, right? He starts from about maybe 2 yards inside of the numbers right here, and now he's going to work up. And the final result, he's about, let's say, 3 or 4 yards now. He gets the DB to flip their hips right here, and now he has all this space for the quarterback to work with, which is just being a quarterback's best friend when you're able to run a route like this. Then he does get that separation. Look at how much he's got. And just again, the smart aspect of it to work inside as opposed to if we just run this like it said on paper, it's not going to work. There's going to be no place for the quarterback to throw the ball over here, especially if our main read or our hot read here is Tank Dell to the bottom to the bottom of the screen right here. So here's the last clip of the day from analyzing Tank Dell's craft and overall game. And it just emphasizes the points that I was talking about of, yeah, he is a smaller wide receiver, but he's a smaller wide receiver that plays larger than his size, meaning he's able to go up and high point the football at its highest point in the air. And there couldn't be a more perfect example of it than this right here. And then just to show his hands too. So watch it right here. Able to high point that football right there. And I mean, it's scary, especially when you're at that kind of height in the air right there to have to it's a good adjustment. That's a really great adjustment from him. But to have your back facing the ground while you're up in the air like this, especially with the kind of impact you can get by landing or when your head snaps back. But he's able to do that. And then another good thing, he's able to protect himself right here. Instead of He's able to protect himself and hold on to the ball. So instead of him falling straight on his back to the ground right here, he's able to just really uh, tuck and turn the shoulder. When you turn the shoulder, your goal is to, of course, protect yourself, but you want to land on the side of your shoulder here. That way, you protect yourself and protect yourself from getting hurt. And he scores for six too. The breakdown portion of this video has come to an end. When we talk about Tank Dell, I really do believe his routes are like poetry in motion. From the footwork, skill, and mental aspect of it, it's just all superb. And going from watching the clips of his college days at the University of Houston to now in the NFL with the Houston Texans, like it's all the same, and it's all the stuff that he's been doing in the building blocks to his success as a route runner and his success so far as a wide receiver in the NFL. It is really unfortunate that he's had those two injuries, especially his rookie year and then this past season to his lower legs. So we'll have to see how he comes back and where his performance is at after those two significant injuries. But in terms of his overall craft and just as an overall wide receiver, like he is a smaller wide receiver, but I do think that he plays larger than his size when it comes to, as I've mentioned, high pointing the football, but then overall just like adjustments and stuff that you see really athletic receivers do. Like he can also do, despite him being listed as 5'8", 165 pounds. Though that size, I do believe gives him an advantage in the fact that his low center of gravity, he can make really sharp cuts. He can be really quick, and then you combine his footwork, and it just takes him to where he is right now as a route runner. But just overall, a really special football player. I hope he comes back just as how he was pre those injuries and has a really great season with the Houston Texans. And overall, a great career because I know he's capable of it.